Hey everyone, I'm Bobby Hundreds. I'm the Chief Creative Officer and the co-founder of The Hundreds. And right now, right here on The Hundreds TV, tv.thehundreds.com, you can now buy The Hundreds and Clare V. This is a capsule collaboration collection, super limited, years in the making. I mean, our friendship, mine and Claire's, our friendship has been years in the making. And so it was just about time that we finally did something together. You know, Claire's story is that she is an LA maker just like us. She was kind of coming up at the same time. Our brands shared very similar entrepreneurial paths, and so we kind of carved our way out in that world. We bootstrapped it, both of us, and we've been able to curate and cultivate our own communities who are just super loyal, super about the brands. We're both very colorful. We have a lot of storytelling involved in the product that we make. It's now all available right over there on the side as you're watching here on The Hundreds TV. This is another episode of Dropping In. I'm Bobby Hundreds. Every week I drop in here on The Hundreds TV and I go over whatever the latest drop is. I'm gonna just walk you through it, some of the details, show you what I love about it and the history and the reasoning behind a lot of the choices that were made in creating the product. And as I'm talking, you can go over and buy it on the side. You can also chat to people, which is really what The Hundreds TV's power is all about. It's in connecting our community. So go sit over on the side, talk to people. If you have a brand, drop it in there, share your socials, don't be shy, support each other. And if anyone needs help, ask questions, ask for guidance. There's a lot of other people who are starting brands or who are fans of streetwear that can help. And if you're just willing to make a friend, you know, everyone sit in the chat and tell us where you're from. That alone can start building your own communities from within your own neighborhoods. So once again, you're watching Dropping In. I'm here to announce that The Hundreds and Clare V is now available as you're watching this. The first item I want to talk about is this. It's called the Patrick Waist Pack. We call it many different things. It's a waist pack, it's a fanny pack, you know, depending on the generation you grew up in. It's a side bag, it's a crossbody bag. It's very streetwear, but it's also very much relevant to what Clare V has been known for since they've started their brand, which is making just some of the best bags in the world, all made here in Los Angeles. When we started talking about this project, we were noticing that within streetwear over the last, 4 or 5 years, it's become more and more prevalent and popular here in the States for a lot of guys, especially, to be wearing these bags. You know, I wear one all the time just because it's useful, it's utilitarian, especially when I travel. I keep my passport and all my documents in there. Overseas, you know, guys have been used to wearing these forever, but here I think there was a little bit of an adjustment, a little bit of a transition to getting used to wearing bags and having that be more normalized, and we wanted to celebrate that. So this collection is not just for men, women, it's for all genders. It's for everybody. Everybody needs quality bags. Everybody needs stuff to hold, and so why not begin by making this waist pack? It's called Patrick. It's full grain Napa leather. It's all made here in Los Angeles. It's got that gunmetal zipper that is pretty aligned with the Hundreds aesthetic. The inside has kind of this chambray lining, but it's super high quality. This graphic treatment that you see on all the product is digitally printed from Italy. And what the graphics are saying are they're sharing a lot of the slogans and catchphrases between The Hundreds and Clare V. DIY, maintain the mystery, these are very much us. PMA, bright ideas, dark secrets. And then for Clare, there are words like we, a lot of little French sayings. I can't read French, I don't speak French, but it says made in LA here in French on the side. Clare having a lot of Parisian influence in her brand. Obviously with The Hundreds, we're LA and we're very much Angelino based. So Clare, we can move on to the next product as I'm talking about a lot of her influence. This is the Philippe Tote. This is also now available right here on The Hundreds TV as you're watching. This is part of The Hundreds and Clare V. I'm Bobby Hundreds. I'm just walking you through the collection. Again, there's that chambray lining on the inside, a little internal pocket, also full leather, again with the digital printing. Now Claire, in a lot of her bags, a lot of her graphic treatments come from her being observant of sign painting, hand-lettered sign painting as she traveled around Europe, especially around France. And so we looked at that and said, we have a lot of our own unique personalized hand-painted sign lettering, hand-lettered stuff out here in LA on a lot of the storefronts. It's a really unique aesthetic that is distinctly the hundreds and distinctly Los Angeles. And so we wanted to incorporate both of those things. The contrast against the black background, the black leather is also something that we shared with Claire, popped off with all these bright fluorescent accents, which again speaks to LA, but also speaks to that Parisian influence. This is the Philippe Tote, the Philippe Tote bag. You can hold it like this. Obviously, there's many ways to hold this tote bag, but I run mine like this. There's shorter straps, so you can just throw your computer in there. All the things that you need for the day can be carried right here in the Philippe Tote. The Patrick waist pack, these are still available. The Patrick waist pack is probably the most versatile. This is how I usually run mine when I'm just going out for a hike or running around for the day. You can throw everything in there. You can also throw it behind you like a backpack. And then if you want to be real G about it, you can just run it like a straight up fanny pack, and then it really doesn't get in your way. Super high quality, this black webbing right here, but super high quality leather. Again, all made in LA. The entire collection's made in LA because this project was made in LA. The Hundreds was made in LA. Clare V was made in LA. And so we wanted to emphasize that. Also, everything that Claire does is made here, right here in Los Angeles. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the wallet clutch. This is probably going to be the most popular item. This is a signature piece from Claire. Clare V, she's been really famous and known for a lot of these clutch wallets. Very easy. You can also throw a strap in there on both sides and wear it more like a bag. But this is just easy. Someone, not me, but someone, actually a few people here in the company said you can store your weed in there. But there's many possible uses for this bag, and it can also all go together. So this is also Napa leather. Treated with the digital printed graphics, again digitally printed in Italy, and the graphics once again reflecting back on a lot of the messaging that comes from both the Hundreds and from Clare V. So there's that clutch wallet. We have the card case, which is also a wallet. It's got a green pop trim on the inside, also full leather. And again, the all over print on the outside. The card case can hold a few cards, multiple cards on both sides. If you want to also run it as a wallet, you can throw your cash in there. You can also throw your weed in there as well. You can put your weed in all these things. In fact, there are many pockets. I'm not saying you should put weed in there, but if you had weed that needed to go inside of a pocket, we've provided enough pockets that just seem to be the right size to do that sort of thing. We also have the socks that say, that have the Clare V branding right there, the Hundreds branding. We utilize a lot of the colors that you see throughout the collection, that green, the orange, blue against the contrast black. Les Cent, which I think I'm saying right in French, but you can also read it just as less sense. But I don't want to make it sound like we're making less sense. We're making all the sense here. It's Les Cent, I think I'm saying that right, but that's a French way of saying the Hundreds, I'm assuming, according to Clare Vivier. So Clare Vivier wanted to run Les Cent across a lot of the branding, a lot of the graphic treatments. There's the socks. We also have this sweatshirt, which we are already running far out of as far as I can tell right now as I'm watching the Hundreds TV. But Les Cent on the Made in Los Angeles sweatshirt right here, on the screen sweatshirt. On the back, there is the Clare V branding, which is cool. Looks like it just drips down the back right there. There's that. Again, coming from that hand letter sign painting style graphic treatment. And we also have that graphic right here on a black t-shirt, again also made in Los Angeles. I should probably end it right here with the wristlet keychain. You know, everyone can walk away with a keychain. I do understand a lot of this stuff is pretty pricey. These are just really standard for good bags and coming especially from Clare V. So with, if it seems a little bit too lofty for you, you can always walk away with the clutch wallet. And you can also walk away with this, which is just a wristlet keychain, just to be a part of the collection, just have a little memento from it. So there's this guy. That's about it, everybody. I want you to learn more about our relationship with Clare V, know more about Clare V herself and Clare V, her brand. We've written a bunch of cool articles and little stories on thehundreds.com to explain a lot of that. There's also an interview that I have with Clare where I sit down and we just kind of talk about the collection, where it comes from. In that interview, I mention how Clare has a little bit of a streetwear past. In fact, she was one of the owners of one of the first streetwear stores in the country. It was called Behind the Post Office. If you're a real streetwear nerd, you should know about that store. So this project kind of comes full circle for Clare in many ways. I'm Bobby Hundreds, you're watching Dropping In. I come here every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. when we do a drop, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I come live. I explain what the drop's all about, where it comes from, the history behind it. And tonight, right here, as of just a few minutes ago, we dropped the Hundreds and Clare V for the first time. We debuted it to the world. A lot of it is already blowing out, so I want you to get your hands on it quick. While you're here, sit and chat with people in the chat, but you can also shop as you're listening to me. Again, the Patrick waist pack, the Philippe Tote, am I getting that right? The Philippe Tote, the Patrick waist pack, and the wallet clutch, which is just clutch. You gotta get one of those. But this is, I think of the entire collection, this waist pack is the one. You know, really the collaboration came from here. So get one of these while they last. Full grain Napa leather, gunmetal zipper lining, and there you are. I'm Bobby Hundreds. Thanks for watching Dropping In, and thanks for supporting the Hundreds and Clare V.
I'm Clare V.
Did you look at the camera when you said that?
No, I'm Clare V. I'm looking at chat.
Okay. I'm Bobby Hundreds. I don't remember how we met, but I'm just assuming...
Well, I think we reached out to one another on Instagram, and I don't know, someone's house. It was the DeRay McKeeson book release, and you had done the t-shirts.
Yes.
And then I kept seeing you on all my friends' Instagrams, and I was like, why don't I know this person? It's so crazy.
I mean, I've been very much aware of Clare's work for 10 years, I feel. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, at least 10 years.
Mike Pringle opened Behind the Post Office in San Diego, I think in like '91, and then I was with his brother, Stephen Pringle, for years. And we opened the one in San Francisco together.
Yeah. Behind the Post Office was one of the foundational streetwear stores. It was like one of the first in the country back before we even really called it streetwear. I traveled around the world and I asked all these OG streetwear pioneers. Almost every single person pointed back to behind the Post Office.
Really?
Yeah. I just feel like your life came full circle, like your career came full circle.
But then, you know, my boyfriend and I broke up. I went to Paris. And
then that's what started this chapter of your life, right? What attracted me to her work was first hearing about it all the time from my wife and all her friends. And then once we connected, I was like, I'm never letting you go.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And then we like made a point, he came to my studio and we sat down and immediately just like connected. I went to his studio, I went to the Hundreds, and it's such a cool like camaraderie or kinship that you feel to someone else who's doing what you're doing and building this kind of thing. Like you had your warehouse, we have our warehouse, we were making stuff in LA, and so much affinity to one another just really quickly. And I was like, I love this person. As I tell people more and more about this project that we're working on together, they're like, oh, that just seems so different, or how did that even come about? You see this interaction and you see the stories of our brands and how they've come up together, it only makes sense. So we want to do something in leather. We have a pretty colorful brand, so I think there's a lot of color, which is kind of very CB, very Hundreds too, and a lot of these are little taglines from your guys' former designs. We have a lot of slogans and catchphrases that we use,
And then I think also in terms of the graphic, Claire's known for having like sign painting throughout a lot of her graphic treatments. And they're borrowed from when you travel around, you'll take photos of street signs and like
hand-painted signs.
Hand-painted signs, especially in Europe, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it came from Europe. And so we were saying if we're gonna bring this back to LA and go from a lot of this Parisian, French influence and bring it back to like more about Angelino culture, what do our store signs look like? What does our hand-painted signs look like? And so we drove around town and took photos of things that inspired that type of language and incorporated it with a lot of our sayings.
And some of ours. So
yeah, and some of your sayings.
Vive la résistance, fabriqué à Los Angeles. Yours are maintain the mystery.
Bright ideas, dark secrets.
PMA. I feel like I'm half French at this point because I spend so much time there. I don't know another word for it versus better than insouciance. Like, insouciance is just like you rolled out of your house like this. Like it looks like you didn't care, but you have like this beautiful style, or just that's the thing we're striving for, is make it look like you didn't try. I mean, it feels like that. It's very effortless. We wanted it obviously to blur so many boundaries and for anyone to be able to wear it. For this project, the product speaks for itself. Just the fact that we're doing it, I think, working with a bag label, a bag brand, bag designer like Claire is already noisy enough. And then you see the product and you're like, okay, this is the bold statement. I'm almost glad that we started slow. Like, we're just gonna introduce it like this and get people warmed up to the idea of like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. We see how this works. The product is great. And then this time next year, we'll do it again. Yeah, we could do so many cool things. Yeah, we will. Yeah.